We're now going to be creating the PHP script that will parse the form. We'll be using the basic arithmetic operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, so that our PHP script is going to calculate the total cost for the sale of some sort of widget. The handling script could be the basis of a shopping cart application. This is very practical for a web page feature. All of our relevant values are going to come from the HTML page. I recommend when you're creating a script like this, you be sure to add your comments so you'll be able to remember what the different lines of code are going to do. This will help you to learn the PHP. I've already saved my page as form-calculations.php. I'm going to set this page up as a basic HTML page, and we'll go ahead and give it a title of Product Cost Calculator. Inside of the body tag, I'm going to open up my PHP tags, and I'll put a couple returns and add the closing PHP tag. I'm going to make a comment that this script is going to take values from the costcalculation.html file and perform total cost and monthly payment calculations. The first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to get the values from the post array. We'll be assigning the $_post element to local variables. Our script is going to receive all the form data in the predefined post variable. We're going to access the individual form values by referring to the index of the post array. Inside of the square braces, we're going to be specifying the corresponding form element's name value. So these values are assigned to individual local variables here, which is going to make them easier to use throughout the rest of the script. I'm giving each variable a descriptive name, and I'm writing it all in lowercase letters. All of these name values can be found as the value for the name attribute in our form. The next step is to begin calculating the total cost. Note that the asterisk right here indicates multiplication in PHP. So the total is first calculated as the number of items purchased. That's our quantity, and I'm going to multiply it by the price. Then my shipping cost is going to be added to the total value. And remember that the shipping cost correlates to the value attribute of each shipping drop-down menu item. So that's happening right here. And then we're going to use the minus sign to subtract out our discount. In PHP, you can determine a variable's value in part by using that variable's existing value. And that's being done in these last two lines here. So once we actually perform calculations, we're going to use the existing value for this step and then apply it to the next step, and so on and so forth. The next step is to calculate the tax rate and the new total. Remember that the tax rate should be entered as a percent. That's how we're asking it here. So the person might enter 8.25 or 7, and then that number is going to be divided by 100. That'll give us a decimal equivalent of the percent. And then finally, we're going to calculate how much something costs with tax by adding 1 to the percent and then multiplying the new rate by the total. We'll do that right here. This is basically the mathematical equivalent of multiplying the decimal tax rate times the total and then adding that result to the total. So for example, if my tax rate on $100 is 8%, that's going to be $8, which would make my total 108. That would be the same as multiplying 100 times 1.08. Next, we're going to use some division to be able to calculate the monthly payment. We're assuming that our widgets can be paid for over the course of many months. So here we'll divide the total by the number of payments to find out the monthly payment. It's probably a good idea for us to apply the proper formatting. So I'm going to take the total and I'm going to tell it to appear in number format, and it will display with decimals. And then I'm going to take the monthly value and have it appear in number format. And again, it will appear with decimals as well. And then the final thing that we want to do is we want to print out the results. So our print statement is going to allow us to send every value to the browser along with some sort of text. To make this easier to read, I'm using break tags to format the browser results. In addition, my print function operates over multiple lines to make the PHP a little bit cleaner. Each variable's value is going to be highlighted in the browser, and we're wrapping that inside of span tags with a class of number. I'm going to go ahead and use embedded styles at the top of my page here, and we'll just set up a style so that any of the values are going to be colored in teal and their font weight is going to be bold. That's not necessary for this to work, but it'll just allow us to see the values that we're collecting a little bit easier. I'll save my PHP page, and if we go back to the HTML page and fill in some values and click our calculate button, you can see that we're going to get the results printed. I think I'm just going to link my results page to my external CSS as well. We'll do that at the top of this page, so I'll just link that in. And now when we see the results, they're going to be formatted using the same text formatting that I had used on the form page where I was collecting the data. Once you have this built, you can go back to the form and you can change your values. Maybe we have no discount and we want 4 of these items and they cost $25.95. When I click calculate, it's going to still perform the calculations. So now our form is working pretty well.